You know, it was quite funny because I was trying to refresh up on my notes, and I found this book by accident by us. And it's a short version of a complete Lama Tsongkhapa practice with lineage and all that. And I was flipping through it, and then, you know what? I was quite amazed. The material and the write-up and the setup is quite good. And this is all part of the the Lama Tsongkhapa box set. And I completely forgot. I didn't see this for 2 years. Isn't that sad? I forget what books we have. Anyways, I looked through it just now, and everybody should have one. And we should get this. I think we have this in Chinese already, right? And then we should get this reprinted again, separate also, because this is really easy for people to understand. Good pictures and all that stuff, all right? I'm not praising my own book because I didn't compose it. I extracted it from very reliable sources, so it's compiled. Okay, I'm not teaching anything new to any of you. Now, tonight's teaching was inspired by Yin Xi, who has struggled for many years in China to get our teachings. And some of our teachings online he cannot access from China. And therefore, he's very thirsty to get knowledge. He's 21, and he traveled here for Dharma. So the other day when I met him and Miss Metok from San Francisco, I was quite taken. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I give teachings here quite often in the past. And some people, not all, make it very difficult for themselves to arrive to the teachings. And there are people who are in China, in America, in Europe, who are always saying they don't have any teachers, any Dharma centers, or anyone around. And they wish so much they had teachers around. And they would fly here from other countries to receive Dharma teachings because they can't get it from where they are. Whereas we're right here, just 1 hour, 45 minutes, half-hour drive away. And even if we have to fight traffic, it's not a big deal because the Dharma is the most supreme. All right? So I was inspired by Yin Xi, and I thought I would give him teachings. And then I thought, oh, I'll call about 10, 15 people. Then it became this. Then I thought maybe I should call more and do it at KH, and I thought, no, too short of a notice. So today's teachings I wanted to pass on to Yin Xi and to all of you. And of course, the pastors and pastors-to-be. The reason for that is because to be a successful pastor, it's very simple. Every day, every week, and every month, you become less selfish. And then you become an excellent pastor. It's not how much Dharma you know. It's not how eloquent you speak. It's not how many rituals you know. It's how selfless you are. Because becoming a pastor is benefiting others, putting others in front of yourself, putting others in front of your own needs. What's the purpose in that? It's very simple. Spirituality is all about destroying and abolishing selfishness. Okay? Spirituality is all about destroying and abolishing selfishness. So if we are to be good pastors, we are wearing the uniform of a spiritual person. The uniform of a spiritual person represents a person who's spiritual. And that spirituality means not how many mantras you did, or rituals you know, or holy places you went to, or how many high lamas you took pictures with. It is about how less selfish you are. That is true spirituality. The biggest goal in our lives is to make our lives less selfish. That is the biggest goal in life. Because at the time of death, any time, you take your mind with you, and when the mind is less selfish, in the future lives, you create less problems for yourself and others, and therefore, less suffering. Remember something, every single suffering that you have experienced in this life, all came from you. So if you practice Dharma and you haven't changed, why should your circumstances change? If you're practicing Dharma and you haven't changed, you haven't turned your mind around, how will your circumstances change? So don't say, well, I'm in Dharma and things haven't changed. I prayed to Kechara, things haven't changed. Yes, they can help you, but you got to help yourself and combine your efforts. So if you come to Dharma and after refuge, after meeting your teacher, your attitude is exactly the same as before, or similar, then it's just another movie you attended. It's just another event, another circus. How will you see things or act or feel differently if before Dharma you're the same and after Dharma you're the same? So remember, spirituality is not how many mantras, yidams, lamas, how high your guru is. Kyabje Pabongo Dorje Chang achieved the highest results in his life in Tibet in the early part of the 20th century, studying and meditating under one of the most humblest, simplest lamas who wasn't a geshe, who wasn't a scholar. And he went every single day to his guru's room. He received a few verses of the Lamrim, and he was sent behind the guru's house into a cave, into a retreat area to meditate and to think about the points and understand and realize it, and then come back for more teachings. And his teacher that he studied under, that he revered the most, because he had many teachers, was not a scholar, was not a geshe or a high-ranking lama, nothing. But the incredible thing is that his guru used to have direct visions of Tara all the time. All the time. And people can test him, because Tara would tell him it's like that, like that, like that. So another part of Tibet, they would check and say, oh yeah, how does Lama know that there's this in this building, there's this going on? Tara tells him, he tells his students. So he's proven time and time again that although he has no rank, he's not a geshe, he's not a scholar, he's highly accomplished. And Pabonga studied under such a great Lama and became highly accomplished. My point, simple. Before Dharma, after Dharma, your attitudes, our attitudes, should be different. What's the fundamental attitude? Less selfishness. That is the goal. That is the goal, whether you're practicing in a mountain, in a city, you're in a center, you're under His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or Panchen Lama, or Trungpa Rinpoche, or you're practicing under a schmuck like me. It doesn't matter. Your goal is less selfishness. If you're less selfish, you know what happens? You please your gurus. You please your Dharma protectors. You please your parents. You please your kids. You please your mates, your partners. You please your friends. And guess what? You please yourself. You become the happiest person. Trust me, the less selfish you are, the happier you are. The more selfish you are, the more unhappy you are. You have to check that out in life. Okay? So, spirituality is lessening our selfishness. So Yin Xi came from very far. Yin Xi came from very far to study the Dharma. And I thought I'll give direct teachings to him and an oral transmission. And he's written me a long secret letter expressing all his secret feelings, which I appreciate. And he's requested for refuge. So today afterwards, I'll be granting him refuge. And the reason is, he didn't drive from Klang to be here, or PJ. He drove from China to be here. So I'll give him refuge, not because I'm the best Lama, but because he's sincere. So anyone else that has not taken refuge, let Su me know and I'll consider if I'll give you refuge tonight. I will consider. I don't accept anyone for refuge. Let me tell you why. If I had a mirror and you looked at yourself, would you want to take refuge with yourself? No, just kidding. Then you can put a mirror up to me. Would you like to take refuge with me? Yeah, same thing. Goes back and forth these days. All right? Now, today we're going to go through the Guru Yoga. It's going to be marathon time. We're going to take little breaks in between. The Ladrang people have worked very hard to prepare all day for you. All day. Food, preparations, arrangements, and they've been working very hard with me every single day. Okay? So I want you to appreciate the Ladrang people. I want you to appreciate their organization and getting everything together. I can't do anything without them. So I'm going to go through a marathon teaching about the lineage, the benefits, the meditation on the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa. I will also talk about the meditation of Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga step by step, which is Shiloka. Shiloka is the paragraph, step by step. And I want everybody to listen very carefully and pay attention. And if there's something you don't understand, write it down. You could ask afterwards, or if you forgot and you remember later, ask each other. For example, the queen of questions is Sophie. She's the queen of questions because she really wants to learn. Yeah, because she wants to learn. I asked a lot of questions when I was a kid. So what happens is people like Sophie who really want to learn, and she just drives to ask questions. Afterwards, help her, talk to her. She's very new, she's sincere. She's a kind person. And all of us are here. So we help each other and learn, okay? And then the last part is I'll offer oral transmission, which is those of you who received it think, oh, I'm getting a blessing again. Those who have not received it think I'm receiving the seeds of Lama Tsongkhapa's blessings within my mind stream. Where we got the teachings from must be from a real teacher, must be from a real scripture, a real Dharma text. It cannot just be pulled out of the air. Cannot be. So ordinary people like me must give you a lineage and tell you where it came from. That is by tradition before we started teaching. So that you know that after 3 hours of teaching, oh, Tara told me. You're like, what? Some of you might believe me. Some of you might not. But that doesn't happen to me. Tara doesn't talk to me. So this lineage is, the oral transmission was given to me by His Holiness Kyabje Rinpoche, who was the 98th, he was one of the great throne holders of Lama Tsongkhapa, which I met in Howell, New Jersey. He came to visit us. And only the oral transmission. I received the whole initiation, practice, empowerments from my root guru, His Holiness Kyabje Rinpoche. That should be 1989, right? 83, is it? I forgot the date. Okay, anyways, this was the United States. I was 18 years old. So I received a complete practice, explanation, teaching, empowerment, oral transmission, complete from His Holiness Kyabje Rinpoche. After which, a few years later, I went into full retreat with tormas, offerings, mantras, meditation. So I went into full retreat and I completed the retreat. So therefore, I have received it from Rinpoche. I have done the required commitments. I have done the practices. So today, what I'm passing to you is from my root teacher, Kyabje Rinpoche himself. And he gave these teachings in Geshe Turim Gyaltsen Center in Los Angeles. So my teacher, Geshe-la, was there. My root teacher, Kyabje Rinpoche, was there. So it was a very, very special occasion at that time. So today I pass these teachings to you again. And especially for the pastors, be alert and aware, because whatever you learn is what you should share with other people. All right? Mahasiddha, the great Geshe Turim Gyaltsen, for over 8 years when I was in Los Angeles. I joined him when I was 16 years old, and I lived in the Dharma Center. And I left when I was 22, 23 for Ganden Monastery. So in Los Angeles, I was so fortunate. I lived with one of the greatest living masters of this century. And I received many explanations and teachings and practice of Lama Tsongkhapa from Geshe-la also, many. One time in Los Angeles, they were having an international Buddhist gathering at the University of Oriental Studies in Los Angeles. And it was quite a big hall. It was packed, a couple of hundred people. And there was Buddhist monks, teachers, and nuns from all traditions of Buddhism, Zen, Thai, Cambodian, Burmese, all. And Geshe-la was invited. It's in this book. Geshe-la was invited to represent the Tibetan tradition. And I went with him. It's just 2 or 3 of us. And when we arrived at the hall, we stayed there. We were ushered in, and Geshe-la sat down with all the other Dharma teachers, and I was sitting behind him, because I went as his assistant and his servant, and I was very lucky. And each tradition had 15, 20 minutes to do a special chanting. Their way, their style. Everybody was so grand. The Chinese ones, they had bells, you know, they chanted in unison, they had their uniforms. The Cambodian ones, the Vietnamese ones, everybody had their tradition. Everybody had, the Korean ones were very elaborate. They had bells, drums, incense. They got up, they prostrated, they went down, they went up, they went down. Well, I was quite arrogant. That's nothing. The Tibetan tradition is really great. You haven't seen the tantric rituals. So I was sitting there thinking, oh, I hope Geshe-la recites something like Yamataka, get his bell and vajra out, you know, get his crowns out, and sit there and just really wow the crowd and show off. I was hoping that. I was sitting next to it, and I was confident. I was thinking, oh, this is nothing. Your bell, schmel. So when it came to our turn, I mean, everybody really took their time. When it came to our turn, it was just me and Geshe-la. Geshe-la folded his hands. He didn't want his ritual bells. I was like, he's like, no. He didn't want his ritual bells, nothing. He didn't want anything special. He didn't want to wear anything special. He just sat there. He folded his hands and he recited the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa. Slow and rhythmically, without even singing. Kechara has a beautiful singing voice, without singing. So when he started, I was like, oh no. I was thinking to myself, oh no. And all the other people were sitting there like, that's it. And I was thinking to myself, oh no, Geshe, please. And I thought, maybe it's just a preliminary. Maybe after that he'll recite something expensive. Because he's got it all memorized. Well, no, he didn't. So when he got to the second shloka, the second paragraph, I joined him to recite with him. And the other Geshe, they were there, one or two there, just about 3 or 4 of us. I had memorized it, they hadn't. So I recited with him. So Geshe, the whole hall is huge. Geshe's voice is permeating. Suddenly I joined in and I started chanting because we're supposed to all chant together. So when I started chanting, everybody, the whole audience went. Because like I got red hair and I'm wearing my jeans and I'm wearing my strange clothes and I'm sitting there with Geshe and I just look like a little weirdo, I look like Julian without the cast. And everybody's looking at me and I'm 17, 18, and I'm chanting and I close my eyes. I was shaking because thinking, oh, please don't let my, because sometimes when you're nervous, your memory fails. Things you recite every day, when people watch it, because I have a big ego. When we have a big ego, we get nervous, so we mess up. So I was sitting here chanting, and Geshe's voice is beautiful, and I was like, I was so nervous, But everybody looked. Halfway through, I calmed my mind down, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do what Geshe says, that's all. So we chanted, and our chanting was just like 7, 8 minutes. That's it. No rituals, no bells, no costume, no uniform, nothing. That was it. And when we finished, some people turned around, they're kind of like, oh, okay, finished, next. So after when we left the hall, I said to Geshe, everybody really had a chance to show off their tradition, Do you think that we really showed off? We did like a, show them how rich Tibetan tradition. He said, oh yes. He said, what would be more profound than Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga? Everybody here got blessings of Tsongkhapa and Manjushri. Everybody got blessed with that. Everybody heard the name. Everybody heard the mantra. Everybody in the hall was blessed. How more profound is that? And I went, oh my God. I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed because you know what? Geshe didn't go there to show off like me. He didn't go there to look good. He didn't go there to suppress the other traditions or make them feel we're better. He went there to participate in a genuine Buddhist event. I went there to look good. I went there to show up. I went there to tell everybody I got the right center, I got the right guru, I got the right lineage. But at the end of the talk, it really humbled me down because I realized Geshe is just Dharma. And then the second thing I realized on that day was Tsongkhapa's practice is that profound. Out of the thousands of practices that Geshe knows and has memorized, he's memorized thousands of pages, okay? He's a scholar. He used that one. So from then I just thought, wow, I'm going to just follow that. Just follow that all the time. So anyways, that was a little story to tell you how Geshe showed me in front of so many people the profundity of the practice of Tsongkhapa. The full lineage, the full initiation, the full oral transmission I received from His Holiness Kapche Rinpoche. Although I received some bits and pieces of teachings from other teachers, the full one is from Rinpoche. It was at this time, this is me and His Holiness Rinpoche. It was at this time that I had received it. During this period when he visited us, he was with us for 6 months. I was his assistant and his attendant, his servant, his cleaner, and his cook when he came to visit. I can tell you honestly, there wasn't one time I had negative thoughts, felt lazy, felt tired, or felt that it was a lot of work to serve His Holiness Rinpoche. Even at the age of 18, not one time. I would give up anything to go back to do that again. So for auspicious reasons, I'm going to give one to each of you, because this is the time, this is the year that I received the teachings of Rinpoche, and so I'm passing the teachings to you. And when I pass you the teachings, I'm not telling you that I'm holy. I'm telling you I received the Rinpoche. Therefore, you can trust these teachings are excellent. This was in California. Just he and I taking a picture. I cropped it so it's easier. All right, so remember you received the Lama Tsongkhapa practice today, and then I received it from Rinpoche. When I do my black tea, Set Kim every day, I always pray in my future life. From a very young age, I will meet my teacher again and do the Dharma from a very young age. And not meet the Dharma when I'm 30 or 40 or 50. It's too late already. I pray very much when I'm young. Again, like in this life, I can meet the Dharma. Can you imagine? I met the greatest teachers in New Jersey when there was no Dharma in the West. So I feel that in my previous life, whether I'm High Lama or not is of no concern. But in my previous life, I feel that I served my gurus quite well. That in this life, at a very young age, without wasting time, I met them at 7, 8 years old. Can you imagine? So I pray in my future lives will be the same, because I don't want to meet the Dharma when I'm 40, 30, 40, 50, wasted so much time, made money, got married, had kids, they grow older, have grandkids, and they get older, and then difficult to practice, my body's not fit, and then die. I couldn't bear that. I couldn't. So that's what I pray every day when I do my prayer. I can start Dharma young again. This life I'm fine. This life, nothing will deter me, take me away, or make me doubt, or push me away from the Dharma. Nothing. Not my parents, not my friends, not my peers. No one can deter me from the Dharma. No one can move my mind. Since I left home at 15 till now, I'm 47. No one can deter me from the Dharma. And from now till the rest of my life, no one can deter me from the Dharma. There will be no time saying, oh, Dharma's good, no good, maybe I'm wasting my time. Never. My mind is very firm. This must be because of my previous life, practice. I'm not showing off, cause and the effect. So nothing in this life will deter me ever. And the third thing is, nothing in this life will deter me for developing more selflessness and less selfishness. I will keep practicing to become more and more daily. Always. These are 3 things I will do, always. What you develop in your mind, you carry with you in this life and future lives. So if your Dharma is unstable, your practice is unstable, the solution is not to make it less, is to do more. That's the solution. Whatever instability you feel in your mind comes very clearly from lack of practice, lack of transformation, lack of genuine transformation on a deeper level. That's everyone. Me, you. So therefore, if you have doubts, you have problems, your mind goes up and down, instead of straying away from the Dharma, to say, oh, I have to do business, oh, I have to make money, I have to take care of my parents, those are all excuses. In fact, if you met Dharma late, you should do double now, because time is short. People who are 20 years old passes away. People who are 30 years old passes away. People who are 80 years old passes away. After 50, 60, 60, 70, how much Dharma do you think you can do? How strong do you think your body will be? How alert will your mind be? Some people are very alert when they're older. Some people are very fit. There's always exceptions, of course. How much Dharma do you think you can do after 60? Don't think I make money, and then when I'm 40, 50, 60, I do Dharma. It will never be. Why? Check yourself now to see how much Dharma you do. If you do very little now, why do you think you'll do more at 10 years? If you do very little now and you think you'll do more in 10 years' time, then you are opposite of karma. Why? If you do that now, you create the karma to do more 10 years. If my previous life didn't practice Dharma, I don't think at this age, in this life, at a very young age, I will practice Dharma. I'm not telling you I'm attained, or I'm a high Lama, or I'm so great. I'm just telling you I have a great interest in Dharma and trust. It came from another life. Same for the rest of you. So therefore, if you think you're going to practice Dharma when you're 50, 60, 70, no. If you're doing Dharma work, do double and triple now. Do not be attached to sleep, family, comforts, health. Don't. When they put you inside that coffin, you can sleep. Don't. Catch up now. Do more Dharma now. Practice now. Practice for yourself. Practice for your brothers and sisters. Practice for your mother and father. Practice for your husband and wife. Practice for your children. Practice for your friends. Practice for everyone. Why? Because if you become better, you will benefit everyone around you. Now is the time to do more Dharma. Now is the time. There is no other time. So if you say, I'll do it later, it's not possible. Why? It's like saying, I'm not going to plant the apple tree, but I'll pluck the apple later. I don't have time. If you don't plant the tree, how will you have apple later? If you don't do more Dharma now, how will you do later? Then some people think, I'll leave it for next life. No. If you're going to leave it for next life, you're pretty much going to leave it. You won't do it in your next life. You will not do it in your next life. You don't have control of your next life. You don't know where you're going to be in your next life. Now go all the way. It's better to live a few years practicing the Dharma and dying doing the Dharma than to live a long life, very little Dharma or no Dharma. Think about it. So don't be attached to your health. Take care of it. Don't be attached means to use that as an excuse. Don't be attached to your families, because the family will never end. Don't be attached to your creature comforts. None of that. You know why? All that will not matter at all. Do Dharma work now double, triple, quadruple. How can I do so much? Of course you can do so much. Look what you can do now compared to what you can do 20 years ago as a child, 30 years ago. Of course you can do more. It's only the will. It's very important. If people protest against you, your partners, your parents, to do Dharma, I'm so sorry. Sometimes we just have to make a difficult choice, just like what Buddha did when he left his family. I love my mother, just like you do. And when I left, I broke her heart. But if I didn't leave and break her heart, we would not be here today. So that's a pain that I have to endure in order to bring Dharma to others. And when I went to receive Dharma teachings, I lied every single day for years. Because if my mother knew I was going for Dharma teachings, she would be very ferocious, very angry, because she wanted me to have a good life, to get married, to have kids, to go to college, to earn money, because that's what she left her country for, to America, to live the American dream. She didn't leave America. She didn't leave her country to America to watch her son become a monk. Because to her, a monk is suffering, loneliness. But because she doesn't know Dharma. I don't resent her. I don't think anything bad against her. I miss her. And I wish I could have talked to her. But that's all I can do. I needed to do what my heart told me, to go and pursue Dharma. So I left when I was 15, with a lot of sadness, with a lot of tears. I never spoke to my mother ever again, because she didn't want to speak to me anymore. So I didn't speak to my mother for 20 years, 30 years, till she died. At all, because she didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want to see me in robes. She called up my gurus and cursed them, and reported them to the police, reported them to immigration, to say that they're taking the son away by saying wrong things to me, which wasn't true. My gurus never fought back with my mother in New Jersey, never. Never. So, but if I didn't do all that, I wouldn't be here today. There would be no Kechara. I wouldn't have served Gandhin. I wouldn't have met Saramji. I'll be a middle-aged old man now, married, with some ugly little kids, putting them to school, doing some business, and then dying. Oh my God. Thank God that didn't happen. Thank Buddha that didn't happen. Just imagine I would have been a middle-aged man now, in America, fat, just having some kids, eating, going on vacation. You know, another fat American, eating hamburgers and French fries, watching ridiculous TV shows, hoping that when I go to McDonald's, no one comes in there with a shotgun and shoots me because they're unhappy. That's very common in America. Just think, I would have just been oh my God, I would have been you. I would have been Henry Uy. I would have been Cage Ung. Not that they're so bad. I would have been Eric Chung. Seriously speaking, imagine if I'd done that. Imagine me with some hair with a shirt on, sitting somewhere in America, watching TV, drinking beer. I did something right. And I'm sorry to have hurt my mother. I am sorry. But I have no choice. It's either pick her and sacrifice my spiritual practice and Ganden and meditations and my monkhood. Because if my mother won, she and I both would have lost. Because she would have been a cause for me not to become a monk, cause for me not to do Dharma, cause for me to go to the 3 lower realms. She and I both will suffer. Not because she's a bad person, she doesn't know. Anyone that stops us from doing the Dharma, whoever they are, creates heavy negative karma. Heavy. Heavy. I'm not close to my dad at all. Now he's another story, but I'm very close to my mom. I respect her to the day I left till now. Very much. You will not get a better mom like my mom. But what can I do? When she was well, she was not well most of the time. My point to you is, I'm not telling you to run away from home or go against your family. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Dharma practice is never easy because you're going towards something very high. You want to open up a small sundry shop and sell a few drinks? It's very easy. You want to open up Jaya Jesko, Takashimaya? How hard is that? So the bigger the goal, the more you have to endure. Tahan. All right, so I do not mean any disrespect to my mother. No. And I'm so sorry to hurt her. But I have to be a monk. I have to study the Dharma. I have to go to India. I have to meet my gurus. I have to live and use my life for the Dharma. I have to. This came from inside of me. No one told me. I had to. Because I looked at my parents and I looked at their friends and I looked at my neighbors. I looked at my friends' parents and I said, I don't want to grow up and be them. I'm so sorry, no offense. So that's why in this life, nothing will deter me. Nothing. I will go all the way. I haven't reached my goal yet, but I will. Now, the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa, or the practice of Lama Tsongkhapa, has many lineages. Many, many lineages because it's quite widespread. But the lineage we're going to focus on, the one that I received from Khyentse Sonramji, is Segyu lineage. Se is a place in Tibet near the Panchen Lama's monastery and Trashilongpo. Se. Gyu means lineage. So Segyu is the lineage from this area in Tibet, because most of the lamas who were very lineage holders came from that area of Tibet, from Se area. The original teachings comes, the original name of these is called the hundreds of deities of the land of the joyful land. The hundreds of deities of the joyful land, or in Tibetan, Gaden Hlagyama. Gaden Hlagyama is translated as the hundreds of deities of the joyful land. Hundreds of deities mean there are many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas there. The land of joy refers to Tushita. Okay? Tushita is the divine residence, paradise, Shantian of Maitreya Buddha. And the Lord of Tushita is Maitreya Buddha himself. Okay, so Lama Tsongkhapa's meditation, from the first line, you are visualizing him coming from the Lord of the joyful land that has hundreds of deities. So the Lord or the protector of that land is Maitreya. What does Maitreya protect us from? Going to the 3 lower realms. Because we develop great love when we practice Maitreya Buddha. Matri, that's his name, Maitreya, great love, Matre. So, because Lama Tsongkhapa emanates from Ganden heaven, or Tushita. Tushita is Gaden. Gaden, Tushita, same. Gaden, Tushita, same. So because he comes from that, it is called the hundreds of deities of the joyful land. So in short, we're going to make it even shorter and sweeter. We just call it Tsongkhapa Yoga. Tsongkhapa practice, that's all. We don't need all these long names. But if you want to know more, you don't have to write a lot, it's all here. All in this little comprehensive book. Everyone who is serious about getting somewhere in their practice should read this book twice a year. Everyone who is serious about their practice should read this book twice a year. Okay? If you read this book thoroughly twice a year, you will refresh your memory. Now, it came from the Buddha Manjushri who taught the Guru Yoga in a set of scriptures called the Emanation Scriptures. He taught the teachings directly to Lama Tsongkhapa. Lama Tsongkhapa extracted these teachings, which he received from Manjushri, and passed it to his disciple. And that's on page 5. I don't know in the Chinese one though. Maybe you should get a Chinese book and you can help me coordinate. So he passed it to his student, Je Sherab Sengye. Then this was passed down to Benden Sangbo. Benden Sangbo was the first one to write this down. Okay? After that was passed to Gyuchen Gendunpe. Then was passed to Gyuchen Dashipa, the great Lama. Then to Je Samdru Gyatso. Then to Tsundrupa. Then Doji Sangbo. Then Kidrup Sangye Gyatso. Then it was passed down to Kyabje Pabonga Dojishang, Kyabje Pabonga Deching Ningpo. Kyabje Pabonga Rimchi, Deching Ningpo is the same. Deching Ningpo is his monk name. Kyabje Pabonga is his title. So Kyabje Pabonga, my name is Tem Rinpoche, but my monk name is Tenzin Sopa. Okay, so you can call me Tem Rinpoche Tenzin Sopa. Same thing here, Pabonga Rinpoche Deching Ningpo. Okay, Deching Ningpo was his name. He's very famous for that. Then it was passed down to his disciple, Kyabje Trijan Rinpoche. This was passed down to his disciple, Kyabje Son Rinpoche. And I received it from His Holiness, Kyabje Son Rinpoche. And today I'm sharing it and passing it down to all of you. So where these teachings came from, there's a clear lineage. Okay? So you don't have to tell people, oh, Rinpoche had a vision and he received it in a vision. No, you say Rinpoche received it from Son Rinpoche. Son Rinpoche received it from Trijan Rinpoche. And so on, so on. So you're very confident where your teachings come. So when you do your meditations and practice, you pray to Tsongkhapa, when you have Tsongkhapa image, when you talk about Tsongkhapa mantra, you have confidence because it came from somewhere clean and clear, no doubt. Page 19 on the English book. Chinese? 19. During the time of Lord Buddha, Lama Tsongkhapa was born as Brahmin, the son of a Brahmin. But Buddha already saw that this person was not an ordinary being. He was already a bodhisattva, not enlightened yet, but a high-level bodhisattva. When Lama Tsongkhapa at that time, in the form of Brahmin, saw the Buddha, he ran up to him, made a prayer, and offered a crystal rosary. When he offered the crystal rosary, Buddha placed both of his golden hands on Lama Tsongkhapa's head that time and said, "After I pass away, and my pure doctrine is absent, you will appear as an ordinary being, performing the deeds of a Buddha, and establishing the joyful land, the great protector, in the land of the snows." So in the root tantra of Manjushri, Buddha made a direct prediction to Lama Tsongkhapa. In the future, to the north, Tibet's north of India, when my teachings have gone down, you will be born in the form of an ordinary person, study and practice, and you will bring the teachings up again. Buddha made that direct prophecy. So Lama Tsongkhapa is already mentioned before he was born. Buddhism has its own messiahs, it has its own prophets, it has its own predictions of high lamas to come. It's just that the Western world doesn't know about it. So Lama Tsongkhapa was already predicted. And you have to understand, the scripture the root tantra of Manjushri is 2,500 years old. So if you look at it, it talks about a coming of this being. It talks about a coming of this being, and it mentions that the Buddha mentioned that he will establish a monastery with the name Ge, meaning virtue, between the areas of Ji and Den, which is not far from Lhasa. And then it became Geden, the virtuous ones. So the Buddha mentioned in the Manjushri Tantra clearly the place, the time, the area, and the name of this monk. And the monk's name is Sumati Kirti. Of course, Buddha spoke Sanskrit. So Sumati Kirti in the root tantra of Manjushri translates as Losang Chakpa. Migme Tsewe Techin Chenezi, Dreame Kempa Ombo Champa Yan, Dufoma Yu Jomse Saweda, Panjin Keva Juchin Tsongkhapa, Losang Chakwi, Shabla Sowan Dep. So Lama Tsongkhapa's name was predicted by Buddha, the place, the monastery, when, and the time. And remember, let me reiterate, okay? The Manjushri Tantric scriptures are 2,500 years old. It's not something written up after Tsongkhapa appeared. It was existing long before. How do we know? Because we have other lamas, other lineage lamas talking about this tantra way before Tsongkhapa already. So it was already written. So Lama Tsongkhapa was predicted by Shakyamuni himself. So when you pray to Lama Tsongkhapa, you should never think you're in the presence of an ordinary being, or it's an ordinary bodhisattva. He is predicted by the king himself, Tsongkhapa, Shakyamuni. That's, you must be clear. So if you have a Tsongkhapa statue, you wear a Tsongkhapa pendant, you recite Tsongkhapa's mantra, you should think, I'm reciting a Buddha's mantra. No doubt. And all the great masters, Saramchi, Trijaramchi, my goodness, Geshe Tsuram Gyaltsen, all of them came from Ganden Monastery, built by Tsongkhapa, predicted by Shakyamuni. Can you imagine that? Shakyamuni predicted Tsongkhapa's coming, and even the monastery he's going to build. Even Tsongkhapa's name, the place, the location, the time, clearly in his predictions. And after he predicted, it came as was predicted in these scriptures. And I'm from that monastery. And the lineage you're receiving is from that monastery. So right now you have a direct connection to Buddha Shakyamuni. So you should feel how fortunate I am. So that's why Geshe Tsurim Gyaltsen used to say, to see Tsongkhapa, to hear Tsongkhapa, to even mention his name is a huge blessing and purifies our negative karma. You're very fortunate. And all these practices like Vajragini, all that, Tsongkhapa clarified. He taught, he explained. The practices we practice in our lineage are all handpicked by Lama Tsongkhapa himself. We don't practice anything in the Ganden school, Gelugpa school, not picked by Tsongkhapa for enlightenment. Even Vajragini behind us is picked. Vajragini used to appear to Tsongkhapa all the time, talk to him. So everything within our Ganden school was handpicked by Lama Tsongkhapa, and Lama Tsongkhapa was predicted by Shakyamuni. I need you to let that go in and realize how great this is. All of you should have a large statue of Tsongkhapa in your house. You know why? Because you're not monks and nuns. Because you're not monks and nuns, you should have a big statue. Why? To collect more merit. If you're a monk and nun, you collect merit by holding your vows. As a layperson, you make offerings, create altars, create Dharma books. That's the way you create it. Even a percentage of your earnings every month, you should set aside for Dharma work. Why? Put your money where your mouth is. A percentage of your earnings you should put away for Dharma work, to spread the Dharma. Why? Because you're not monks and nuns. Monks and nuns collect merit by study Dharma, meditating, teaching, practicing, holding their vows. Lay people, they work, they have families. You should put a percentage. Whether that percentage is $1 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, it doesn't matter. Every month consistently you should do that. Putting aside money to do Dharma work for the donation of Dharma is more important than paying your commitments. Let me tell you why. You pay your commitments, pay your car, pay your house, pay your car. Good, do it. But if you die today, that doesn't help you. But if you put your money away every month towards the Dharma, a small percentage, and you commit, you don't show off. If you die, if you had helped the Dharma Center or Dharma for 12 months, those 12 months of donation to the Dharma will help you at the time of death. You think about that. Whether people believe or not, it doesn't matter. So as lay people, you should have big statues. You should make sure everybody has statues. Promote books. Make sure your Dharma Center survives. Make sure all of that. Why? If you don't commit, who will commit? So as lay people, you should put a part of yourself away, a part of your earnings to the Dharma, to keep it floating. And if you're very poor, offer a loaf of bread when there's a puja in Shatenkan, go there, offer some tea, buy some nasi lemak, vegetarian one, and offer to them. Any small thing can offer, but not once or twice, consistently. And when you offer every month, or you offer to others, or offer to Dharma, please don't wait for a gift or acknowledgement or a card or flowers or a thank you. Do you know why? Then it's not Dharma. Offer quietly and from your heart. Because you're lay people. And that will be good for you when you die. Please excuse me for saying so, but that's the truth. We have Kechara because of donations. We have over 116 staff because of donations. We have our 13 departments because of donations. You can receive teachings today because of donations. This house was lent to me to use because of donations. I don't own this place. No. The aircon and the electricity and all the utilities, facilities are from donations. I'm so fat because of donations. One of my food sponsors is right here. She never gives me money, which is fine. She gives me lots of food. Thank you. And this beautiful lady comes in once a week to cook for us and make sure we're okay. Therefore, if you can't donate money, donate services. And don't expect something get back. When you do Dharma, you never get anything back. Let me read you something from a living Bodhisattva, Mother Teresa. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people accuse you of being selfish and having ulterior bad motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true friends. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people will cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone can destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. They'll forget what you did today that's good. Give the world the best anyway. You see, because in the final analysis, in the final end, it was never about you and them, it was about you and God. So it's never about them, so it doesn't matter what they do to you. Make sense? So let me adjust this one. In the final analysis, it is between me and Buddha. It was never between me and them anyway. Strange that Christianity and Buddhism sound so similar. But a fake Buddhist and a fake Christian sound very different. But a real Christian and a real Buddhist sound very similar. Strange. I keep this next to my bed and my desk and I read it every day. Because Mother Teresa, Lama Tsongkhapa, Dalai Lama, Panchen Lama, they're all good people and they have some wisdom and I like it. I love it. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. Sounds like what Shantideva tells us. Whenever I associate with others, I think myself the lowest among all hold others supreme from the depths of my heart. When others out of jealousy treat me with abuse, slander, and so on, may I suffer the defeat and offer the victory to others. Wow. The 8 verses of thought transformation. Also, Guru Rinpoche himself, the great Padmasambhava, who brought Buddhism to Tibet, predicted Lama Tsongkhapa's coming. It is in that chapter in the book. Please read it. Next, we will talk about the benefits of Lama Tsongkhapa's practice after we have a very quiet 10-minute break. In between teachings, every time we do a break, we offer a mandala to the teacher. When the teacher comes down, we offer another mandala. We don't have to keep prostrations. Then after the teaching is finished, we make a prostration to the teacher. Why? The more we prostrate to our teacher from our heart, the more humble we become. Ego does not practice process. And we do a final dedication. All right, that's the usual procedure. And when you prostrate to your teacher, you should think, teacher of knowledge and wisdom, I offer my body, speech, and mind to you. May I have your qualities of perseverance, the 6 paramitas, so I may be a benefit to others. So I prostrate to you, who I visualize as Lama Tsongkhapa himself. So we should think like that always when we do teachings, all right? But this is a non-Tibetan environment, so we don't have to be so official, just so that you know. So usually, when the teacher comes, we make a prostration. And there's a sponsor for a teaching. Teaching is not given. So if there's a sponsor, the sponsor comes up, makes offering khanda, offering an angpao, they wish, or fruits, whatever. And then everybody prostrates to sit down. We do some chanting and prayers. And mandala, why do we do a mandala offering in between teachings and before teachings? Because sometimes our minds wander. The mandala offering will be instant there. It's like taking a chocolate bar and feeling down. And then your mind will be very fresh. Then at the last part of the teachings, you also offer mandala, a short one, and then you prostrate. If you are leaving and you will not be seeing your teacher for a while, you do not prostrate. Why? It's symbolism that you will meet your teacher again. You don't prostrate if you're leaving. If you're in this area, living here, you can prostrate. If you're going away far, you don't prostrate to your teacher. Then for some of you who you're receiving teachings from me, I'm not your teacher. When you prostrate, you visualize your own teacher. Right? It's not an egocentric practice. It doesn't have to be me. So when you're prostrating, you prostrate to your own teacher, or you prostrate to the Buddha behind you. Everybody understand? I think you remember that. Sure. Benefits of Lama Tsongkhapa's practice, page 54. Section by section, I'm not going to go into very details because it's in the book. And I recommend you guys to read. All right? But I'm going to give you enough and answer some questions. Okay, having said that, up till this point, questions?
Explain the answer here whispered and secret lineage. Why is it?
It is secret because it is secret from people who are not qualified.
What does answer mean?
Ensa is the name of a great master, Ensapa.
Why ear whispered?
Ear meaning it's not written down, it's mouth to ear, mouth to ear. It's not allowed to be written down. There are some practices you give to very high level students. If you give students who are sleepy, cannot remember, late, cannot follow instructions, you never give them ear whisper lineage. So students of the highest quality, there are some teachings you give that you never write down. Example, I have a meditation that was given to me. You're not allowed to write down. And it's to lessen anger. So if you do this every day for 10, 15 minutes, your anger will lessen. Real anger will lessen. But this is only for very qualified students. If I give this to people who lose faith, who don't do Dharma, who's lazy, make excuses, I'll break my commitment, I'll lose the lineage. So that's an ear whispered lineage. What's ear whispered? Ear whisper means from teacher to disciple, mouth to ear, mouth to ear. Cannot be written down. There are some tantric meditations you don't write down. Why? If done incorrectly, it can be damaging. So the teacher only gives it to very qualified people. Okay, Ensa is a great master called Ensapa, who was the master of the ear whispered lineage, which means he has many practices that are not allowed to be written down, past teacher to disciple. Okay? For example, Kechara gave us some ear whispered lineages on the meditation of Tara. You don't write down. He tells you from mouth to you and you memorize and you do it every single day. I've done it every day for the last 25 years without breaking. Those meditations are more powerful to gain results faster, but also more dangerous if you are not qualified. Some of these practices, let's say instead of doing it for 30, 40 years, if you do it for 5, 6 years, you get the result. So the ear whispered lineage or the secret practices that are not written down are very powerful. And the reason they're not written down is so that unqualified people can never get them. If you push yourself to get those teachings, you will transform. If you say, oh, I cannot, I'm not qualified, you won't transform. Even trying to get those teachings is worth it because it pushes you to transform.
From what I understand is that Lama Tsongkhapa's teaching, we don't need any initiation.
Lama Tsongkhapa's practice can be practiced without initiation, so that one is a lighter form, an easier form, a simpler form. With initiation, it's a higher form, a quicker form, and more effective form. But with initiation is for students who can hold commitments. For example, those who push themselves more and do more can get teachings that excel faster. Why? Because they want it. By showing their actions, they push themselves to be ready for it. The ones who always say cannot, then cannot. Then you take many lifetimes to gain attainments, many lifetimes. Even in between lifetimes become animals or ghosts, a lot of interruption in between. The more you say you cannot do, the more you say you cannot change, the longer your rebirths in the 3 lower realms. Why? Because the more attached you are, the attachment to the objects creates the karma to come back to be attached again, come back again to be attached, come back to be again attached. So you never cut it off. So if you're attached to money, making money, saving money, getting money, and all the things you want, you come back as a ghost. You are attached to your comforts. Oh, I cannot do this after 9 o'clock. I cannot push, I get sick. Oh, I don't like this. I'm not comfortable. I cannot this. You come back as an animal. The worst thing to say for a true Buddhist, the worst resolution, the worst thing to say, the worst thing to resign yourself to believe is, I'll do it in my next life. That's the worst. Why? Because you have no control of your next life. So you are just using that as an excuse to people who don't understand more. It's not like food or clothes or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or fun that you can do in your next life. Next life, definitely, you're going to come across food again, if you're lucky. You're going to come across another monster husband, another monster wife, another monster kids, another monster parents. You're going to come across that again and again. Why? Because your whole life created the karma to come across it, because that's what you've been doing your whole life. So if you say, next life I'm going to do Dharma, and you give up now, or you do very little, or you use that as an excuse, why do you think you'll do Dharma in your next life? Impossible. Impossible. And every day you waste your time is one day less you have to transform, and one day closer to your death. And when you die, it's never over. It becomes worse. Unless you don't believe in the Buddha's teachings. Then we have nothing to talk about. It becomes worse after you die. Why does it become worse? Because as you get older, you become worse already. More lazy, more sleepy, more fat, more cannot, more restrictions, more greed. Become more, some people. So as you get older, when you become more lazy, more sleepy, more attached, more unalert, more sick, more unhappy, why do you think when you die, you see, more sick, more lazy, more unhappy, there's the mind stream. You die, then you come back with the same mind. So why is it next mind, you're happy again? You're okay again. Everything's perfect. This mind and this mind connect. It's just a different body. So if you're very attached to money, and that's all you care about, you don't care about anything, just money, money, money. When you die, it's the same mind stream with attachment. And all the time you wasted in making money, only money, nothing but money, and the motivation is for fun, not for something good. If you make money for something good, like for AIDS or leprosy, that's very good. That's beautiful. But if it's just me, or using excuses, me, then in your next life, when you come back, it's the same mind, money, 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 money. So if you cannot come across a body, you may be taken as a spirit. Why do spirits always stay in one place? Or repeat the action? We're afraid of ghosts. Well, you are afraid of ghosts. But if you think about it carefully, what do ghosts do? They relive their attachment over and over for hundreds of years. So they're attached to a boy, they follow the boy. Or they stay where they lost the boy. They're attached to a girl, they stay where they lost that girl. Or they had an accident and they were very angry, they have the accident again. You see them having an accident. Sometimes they come with no head, sometimes they come no arms, sometimes bloody. They come to you, what happened to them last? They relive it over for hundreds of years. So if you're very smart, you will make yourself transform now. If you're very dumb and you think you can fool karma, then you don't transform. Very simple, you don't transform. And you have Kechara, you have your teacher, you have the Dharma teachings, you have Lama Tsongkhapa, you have your Dharma brothers and sisters, you have the departments, you have everything here to support you. If that's still not enough, the next life, what's going to be enough? You have everything now. Everything. You have to think very carefully. And you should think right now, how come I'm so lucky? What did I do in my previous life to be in this room now? Why am I so lucky? I'm in front of my teacher. He doesn't want anything from me. He doesn't charge me. In foreign countries in America, a Dharma talk is $300 US. Every Dharma center charges. Isn't that correct, Metok?
Yes.
And a lot of people cannot afford it, isn't it? They don't go.
Even some of them, they charge $40 for one question.
$40 for one question they charge you.
My daughter want to ask, but she can't afford it because she got lost her job.
That's in Los Angeles, right?
In San Francisco, actually, one of the condos.
So if you ask the Dharma questions, $40 US per question.
Yes.
You owe me some money. I got 80 US already. More questions? It's not a joke. Europe and America, South America, every Dharma talk is charged. And questions are charged. Entrance fee is charged. Because they don't have a tradition to donate like Chinese. So they cannot sustain the Dharma Center. You don't know how lucky you are. Here, the Dharma talk is free. The translator is free. The aircon is free. Even food and drink is provided for you. Even comfortable place. And if you still don't want to help Kechara, then go to America and learn Dharma. Oh, I'm not being difficult. I'm telling you the truth. One question, $40. We have another friend in America who wishes to go to some High Lama's teachings. He didn't. It's his guru. He lives very nearby. He didn't go because he can't afford $300. He told us. It's $300, isn't it? Hello? He couldn't afford $300. There's no free Dharma teachings in Europe and America. You get it all for free here. That's how easy everything is here. So, why am I telling you that? Appreciate the Dharma by practicing. Appreciate the Dharma by transforming. Appreciate the Dharma by helping. Appreciate the Dharma. And I'm not talking just for Kecharians. I'm on film. It'll be on all over. Everybody see. Thousands of people see it. And I'm talking about for people for their own center too. For their own places too. Not just me. I'm not special. Everywhere. I know that because I'm from the US. Every single Dharma talk is charged. Everything. Every book, every printout, every picture is charged. Everything. Because they have to sustain, it's very high costs. It's very high costs. Like Geshe Tsurim Gyaltsen, when I was living there, he was extremely poor. But he still has to, his students still have to charge for the teachings to maintain the center. He himself got nothing. He was very, very poor. So they didn't charge because he's making money. No. Geshe never made money. I saw, because I lived with Geshe 8 years, I saw. Geshe used to take the bus back and forth. When I first arrived here about 10, 15 years back, I used to walk everywhere. I used to live on, Kampong Kirinchi. I used to live there in a small little apartment supported by Henry, who used to sell flea market for me. And I have to go to Mid-Valley to go shopping and stuff. I used to walk. So 10 years back in Malaysia, 12 years back from Kampong Kirinchi, I'd walk across the highway, 3 lanes or whatever, I had to walk across, walk to Mid-Valley, sometimes in the rain. I walked many times because I don't have money in Malaysia, no support, no one to help. I had to endure a lot of poverty in America when I first came. Not America, here in Malaysia. I'm not complaining, but that's how it is. A lot. I walked all over KL. Taxis, Malaysian taxis, cannot. Don't want to go. Lunch, Hari Raya, holiday, sleeping, take a nap time, don't want to go. On the way home, don't know how to go. Most of the time, don't know how to go. Malaysian taxis. And even if I had money, they didn't know how to go. Sometimes urgent. Yes. I used to take the LRT. I took it once, but I cannot find my way because LRT always drop you somewhere even farther. Oh, it's not easy at all. It's just in the last 5-6 years I have some sponsorship and some help. Before that, I struggled a lot in Malaysia. A lot. That's why the few liaisons, the older ones that are very close to me, I'm close to them not because it's a private club. I'm close to them because they supported me when I had nothing. They had nothing, and we worked together. That's right. So I'm not close to the older liaisons. Some might think, oh, it's a private club, Rinpoche only allows this. These people are close to him. No. No. Because they were there when I had nothing. And they went all the way. They didn't make excuses. So I'm very touched and appreciative to them.